Every little girl grows up dreaming about her happy ever after, but most of us don't have fairy tale scriptwriters making sure we get it. That's where the Happy Ever After show comes in. If you have been waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her magic wand and release your frustrations, create the prosperity you want, and live a life you love, then listen closely. It's time to learn how to make your own wishes come true with your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Happy Ever After show. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I'm so excited to spend the next 20-30 minutes with you talking about how to manifest money, specifically $10,000. You know, I know you're listening because you want to welcome more money into your life so that you can build your business quicker and easier. Right? And I see this with entrepreneurs. I talk about this in a lot of the podcast interviews where I'm being interviewed. Is one of the things that I see keeps entrepreneurs stuck and not growing their business to where they want to be is they're not able to welcome the money in that comes with that increased success. So often entrepreneurs will think, oh, it's just, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to grow. I don't know how to set up Facebook. I don't know how to do this. And a lot of times the root cause is like being able to welcome that money in and allow that money in. And so I want to help you grow that mindset. I want to help you grow your money mindset. One of the ways that I can do that is by, we're going through the book because I like to give people options. I like you to be able to hear me speak about these things, and I like you to be able to read them as well. Because number one, some of us learn better one way or the other. So, having the book Manifest 10,000. Maybe you take information in really well reading. Maybe you take information in hearing. I believe the combination of both is super helpful. And I want to empower you to attract more money into your life and really to welcome it, right? And that's what it becomes. I use words like attract and manifest and all that. But what I think it actually comes down to is really like rolling out the welcome mat, opening the door and allowing it to show up. Because I think abundance is there for us. We just put our own barriers in the way to it. So let's welcome in the money. Quick story about, me today. I like to tell you guys a little bit about what's going on in my life. Had a great day, did some work, obviously recording podcasts, and I took a break and went for a walk to go to the bank and do a couple other errands. And one of the places I walked was by where I used to work. And I was so grateful. I was so grateful that it was the middle of the afternoon. It took a while at the bank. I was setting up a new account for my business and things like that. And so it took a while. I feel like I was at the bank for at least an hour, probably over an hour. And that's okay. Like, I didn't have to be stressing that I needed to get back to work. I didn't have to feel like, oh my gosh, somebody's going to catch me. And I just so appreciate that I'm able to take a walk on a beautiful sunny afternoon, go to the bank, enjoy my day, and just leisurely walk home around the block, take a little extra walk. Just super fun and loving that place. And that's really why I do this show, because I want you all, if that's the experience that you desire, I want to help you get there. So one of the ways that you can help me, if you're getting benefit from the show and you love hearing about it, maybe you've been my fan for a long time, or maybe you just found me. If you just found me, welcome. If you've been a fan of mine and been in my community for a long time, I really thank you. I adore all of you that have been around for a long time and all of you that I'm just getting to know. But one of the things that you could do to support me, if you're getting value from this podcast, is to pre-order my book, Manifest 10,000, which is going to be available in bookstores starting May 16th, 2017. I'm very excited about that. It's got a New York publishing deal, and I'm just excited to be able to share this book and this knowledge with more people. And one of the ways that you can support me in that is by pre-ordering, because when you pre-order it, it makes it known to book buyers like, hey, this book is of interest to people. And so what I know to be true is that when you pre-order it, you're helping someone else to find it. And in addition, when you pre-order it, you go to manifest10000book.com, click the link, pre-order it, and then come back to the page and fill out your information. I'll send you a complimentary copy so that you get one as soon as possible. And then you're also going to get one around May. I think they actually start sending them out if you've pre-ordered prior to the date. That's what I've heard from some people at my publishing house. And they said that, they kind of start sending early, which is cool. So sometime around May, you're going to get a copy in the mail, and you can just gift that. You can pay it forward to someone else. And I would love for you to just share it with somebody that you think could benefit. So there's a couple more weeks that I'm going to be doing this as we get closer to launch date and closer, sort of to the May date. I'm not going to do the complimentary anymore because it's just one thing to say, really thank you for supporting me in advance with the pre-launch and getting it out into the world. So if you want to take advantage of that, getting a complimentary copy, make sure to do it sooner rather than later. And you can do that at manifest10000book.com. And just want to say a thank you to a couple people who have entered: Michelle, Mitzi, Diane, Heather, Patty, Lindsay. Not entered, a couple people who have entered their information in order to get their complimentary copy, but more importantly, they've pre-ordered the book. So thank you so much. And thank you, to everybody listening to the show. If you have a friend that could benefit, share it with them. I'd love to have you share it and just let other people know that this information is out there. The more that I teach this stuff and the more people that I hear, just stories of and money showing up in their lives out of nowhere and being able to really, the money is the fun part. I love it. Don't get me wrong when money shows up in people's lives. But what I love just as much is when I get a message that's like, hey, I'm way more positive. Hey, I'm enjoying my life. Hey, the money's showing up, but more importantly, I feel more in control of my life. And those are the things that I love because that all leads to more money. All of those things lead to more money and they lead to creating, a flow of abundance in your life. So I get excited about all the success and every time I get to help someone out. I just love hearing those stories. All right, so let's jump into today's topic, which is really step one in the process of manifesting $10,000. And I just want to reiterate, the skills that you use, the techniques that I teach you in the process of manifesting $10,000, you can use over and over again. They're the things that I used and I still use over and over again in my life to create more money and that abundant flow in my life. And the reason, we focus on $10,000 and the reason the book is Manifest 10,000 is that it gives you a number to start with, right? So some of you who have been around for a while know in the beginning when the course started, it was money, money, money. And I let you pick your own number. And as I watched people do that, I watched how people would go really, really big and they'd fall off really fast. And I'd watch how, some people would pick a number and then they might feel like, oh, I didn't pick big enough. I see other people's numbers. I'm not thinking big enough. And I watched, and then there was a point where I got really curious and I would see people's lists. So this assignment, you always had to do this assignment. It was like, what do you want the money for? Because this is step number one, right? Step number one is to get clear about what you want. So I just want to make that clear. Step number one is to get clear about what you want. Clarity is important. And we talked about this, on the How to Manifest Out of Debt episode, where I talked about getting clear about what you want, so that you're not focused on debt is important, right? And we're going to talk about how does that play in if you want to get clear, because you do want to manifest some money to take care of that. We'll talk about that. And so the first question that you are going to ask yourself to get clear about what you're manifesting, before I actually say that, I want to remind you. So we are, last episode I went through the whole process. And I suggest order the book to go along if you're kind of following the podcast, because it's a great study guide and it'll give you, information. When I wrote the book, I could only put so much information in it because I wanted it to be the size that it was. So I'm going to talk and say things, but not everything that I say is in the book, and everything that I say isn't written in the book, vice versa. I think I said the same thing twice, but you know what I mean. So I just want to say that. And we're in really what I call trimester one. So if you listen to the last episode, there's 3 trimesters, 90 days. Each trimester is about 30 days. And so we're focusing on that clarity, and the focus of trimester one is focus, right? Focusing on what you want and turning your attention and energy towards that. So that first step is getting clear about what you want. And it's important. Clarity is important because if you're not clear, you can't focus your energy, right? And you also, it's hard to focus your energy on something that you don't want. So that's why getting really clear about what you do want is really important. And it's important to drill down to that level of what you do want. So the first question to ask yourself is, what are you going to do with the money, right? What are you going to do with the $10,000 that you manifest? What am I going to do with the $10,000 I manifest, right? And you want to get clear about every dollar of that. So some people, and I watched this in the beginning, I sort of in the beginning of the course, I was coaching, but I was also just looking for patterns now that I look back, right? I was always coaching. And at different times I coached more in the course, I was more hands-on, than other times. There was times I was definitely full on in everyday coaching every single person who wanted to be coached. And so as I did that process, and then I also started watching, like in the times that I wasn't coaching, because, maybe I was focused on something else, or there's just times that I was more hands-on for different reasons. And, as I watched that and I would see, then I would step back and I'd see times, other times, and just watch and observe how when different things happen, people were more successful. And this was definitely one of them. I would get people, and I always say, and it's pretty clear in the, and that's one of the reasons I don't coach as much anymore, is because I give you more instruction, right? I learned where I wasn't being clear, where I didn't give clear instruction, or clear enough examples, or clear enough, step-by-step things. So the program got better. And, so now it's pretty clearly outlined how you go about, allocating your $10,000 and getting to know what you're going to spend it on and getting clear on that. And sometimes it used to be, in the beginning of the course when I didn't do that as clearly, and I'd say, oh, what are you going to spend it on? And people would be like, oh, I'm going to go on vacation, right? Well, where? Is $10,000 more than the vacation? Is it less? And you could tell those people a lot of times wouldn't manifest because it wasn't clear. The clearer that you can get, the quicker and easier you're going to manifest the money, or the universe is just going to hand deliver whatever it is that you want, which is one of the best things. There's two reasons really to get clear. And that first is so that you're clear and you know what you're focusing on, right? So as we go into step 2, which we'll go in depth on the next episode, which is identifying your abundance feelings. A lot of times our feelings are different based on this allocation, right? So it's important to get as clear as you can so that all of the following steps are quote unquote right. There's no right or wrong, but they're in alignment with what you want. If you start out a little bit off course, you're just going to get more off course. So getting clear as you can is really important. And like I mentioned with the vacation, some people are like, oh, I'm just going to go on vacation. And you want to get as clear as possible. Like, look up the vacation. If you're going on vacation, it's on the top of my mind. I don't know why. But if you're going, to the Bahamas, look up how much the plane ticket's going to cost. Look up where you're going to stay. Think about what kind of money are you going to spend on food while you're there? Are you going to go out to eat? Are you going to cook and, get a place at the kitchen? What sites do you want to see? Do you want to go on dive trips? Do you want to go, what do you want to do while you're there? And get really clear about what the investment in that vacation is. Because here's the thing, if you had the $10,000 in your account right now and you were planning that vacation, you'd get clear on all those things, right? You know how much the plane ticket was going to be because you'd be looking it up and doing it. So if it's something like vacation is on your list, cool. Write that down, allocate out the 10,000, look it up, everything, plane tickets, where you're going to stay, get clear on all that. Massages while you're there. Get as clear as you can. Do every single dollar, look it up, get clear. So if you want to make some investments in your business, I see that one a lot. Get clear, right? As I'll often see, like, invest in my business. What are you investing in and why, right? So, it can just even be clear, right? It's like, So maybe the investment in your business is you want to invest in something that's going to help you get clients. Awesome, that's important. So investing in such and such course is $9.97 to get more clients. Like, even don't just say invest in the business. Invest in the business for what? What's the final outcome that you want? Because you're going to take into consideration if what you're doing is in making an investment in your business to get more clients, then we're going to do a lot of other things. A lot of the other alignment steps are going to be geared towards how does it feel to have clients, right? So maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want to invest in a new course so that you can learn something. How is it going to feel when you have that extra knowledge and you feel like you can support your clients even more, right? Maybe what you want to invest in. So let's talk about this. Is a good time to talk about it. A lot of people, you can absolutely sort of have the debt talk. You can put, maybe there's $3,000 on a credit card that with your $10,000, $3,000 of it is going to pay that off. Awesome. Write that down. And then write what you're going to do with that freed up money, because that's going to create money every month in your world. If you pay off a $3,000 debt, I don't know exactly what the payment for the average card would be, but let's say it's $50 a month, right? So you just freed up $50 a month in your life. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to get a massage? Is that your mani-pedi money? Is that, are you going to invest that in saving for a vacation? Where's that money going to go? What are you going to do? And make sure if you have pay off debt on your list, any sort of debt, you're clear about what you're going to do with that payment. And one of the reasons is we kind of talked about this in that episode where I talked a little bit about debt. You want to know where that money's going, right? You want to direct it. You don't want to wait till it's paid off and then direct it. You want to direct it from the get-go. First, so that the money's directed, and second, so that we can tap into that feeling. So if you're going to pay off the debt, because again, there's a reason, like, why do you want that debt paid off? Right? Drill down, right? It's not. Is it so you can feel more peaceful and calm? Awesome. That's good information. We're going to use that in the next step. But for most people, it's so that you have more money in your pocket each month, right? For things that you want to do. So identify what that money is going to go for. If it's going to go for self-care and pampering, if it's going to go to your kids' college fund, awesome. Wherever it's going to go, identify the place that it's going to go now. Don't wait until it's paid off. So that's part of getting crystal clear and drilling down, getting clarity about what you want. And again, the clearer that you are at the beginning, the more set up for success that you are, right? So go through and get really clear on all the details of what you're going to do with your money. Your $10,000 when it's in your account, it's coming in. Like I said, a lot of people want to do investments in their business. Cool. Like, identify what's the outcome of that investment. So when you invest in whatever it is, what are you going to get? What are you creating with that, right? What's that end result? Awesome. I'm going to take this course so that I can also do Reiki. Fabulous. What's that going to get you? Is that going to get you, because it's important to be clear, right? So sometimes people it's like, I want the money for a class. Cool. Sometimes that you want to learn, I'm going to use Reiki for an example because that's on the tip of my tongue. You learn Reiki to enhance your services, right? So sometimes it's just to be a better coach or a better healer or be better at your business, right? And that's cool. So when you be clear about that, you become more valuable, right? I now have another tool that I'm more valuable, and you want to own that. So that when you become certified and you add that on to sort of your services, that you see that as valuable, and you increase the amount that you're charging because you're more valuable, right? As your services are more extensive. If it's, you want to do it because you want to add on another service, perfect. Then be clear, like, I want to add on these services so I can take 5 Reiki clients a month. And that's an extra, $300 or whatever it is. Just be as clear as you can. Take the path as far out as you can, because that's all part of setting the intention, right? So one of the things, the clarity helps with this course, but it also is setting the full intention versus just saying, oh, I want this money to invest in my business, right? Cool. What's the return on that investment? And it doesn't have to be monetary, right? It can be, I feel more powerful as a coach. I feel more confident. Like that's okay. Be clear about the outcome, right? So, having that money, making that investment is going to increase your confidence. Awesome. We're going to use that in the next step. Get really clear. And, I talked a little bit about this, and I've talked about the purple couch before. And I just love the story because there's lots of stories where money came in. Money has come in, for things that were things on my list have manifested without having the money come in. That's what I'm trying to say. But the purple couch is my favorite example because it's so much better. Again, I don't know where you buy that couch. And so, but everything comes in better. So get as clear as you can, allocate every penny, right? We're not just focused on money, we're focused on that amount. And again, that's because for 90 days, let's learn the process, right? Use this system and learn the process for 90 days. You might even do it 2 or 3 times until it becomes, until it ingrained in you, right? Until it becomes part of you. But, then learn the system so that you can use it over and over again, and you can go for bigger and bigger amounts. So we're using 10,000 and 90 days because that gives us a time frame. But getting clear is the first step. It's always the first step in creating and manifesting and attracting anything you want. This is the most important step. And honestly, when I have conversations with people, when I used to coach individuals, and it doesn't happen as much in my coaching now because I set the stage and we're really focused and like we're getting clear from minute 1 that you walk into my workshop. But when I was doing individual coaching, this is the biggest thing that was keeping people from being successful and the fact is they were actually successful. They just weren't getting what they wanted, but they were successfully manifesting what they were putting their energy and attention on. They just weren't aware enough. They weren't drilling down enough to this clarity and getting enough clarity to be focused and putting their energy and attention on what they wanted. So it wasn't that they weren't successful, because they were successful. They just weren't getting what they wanted because they hadn't gotten clear and put in a clear order, right? And I equate this to going to a restaurant, right? When you go to a restaurant, you say, okay, I want the baked chicken and I want macaroni and cheese instead of potatoes, or whatever you say, right? And you're clear about that. You don't go, okay, I want the baked chicken. And when they say, what do you want for the sides? You're like, oh, just bring me whatever, right? You don't just say something good, right? Because the waiter she might like the macaroni and cheese and you might like steamed vegetables, right? So you don't just send somebody off. The clarity matters. And it matters in manifesting as much as it does at a restaurant, but we just don't always, we're like, oh, I know in my head what I want, and you don't always get clear. And write down. So write this down. I always love to write it down because it solidifies it. You can also go back and look at it, right? Then you're not trying to remember like, oh, did I put that on my $10,000 list? How much did I say that was going to be? Oh, so when something shows up, right? If the money shows up, cool. You're like, oh, cool. $800 just showed up out of the blue. I can go to my list and I can make my investment in something that cost $800, right? Or if you get something like the couch and you're like, oh, I had allocated $1,000 for the couch. Cool. I have $1,000 to go someplace else, right? And you just putting the dollar values is helpful on so many levels, and really sets you up for the most success, right? And so just get as clear as possible, as clear as you can, with what you're going to do with the money, right? Versus just saying, I want money to show up. Like, identify what you're going to do with it. And this is something that gets your brain on board as well. This is why it's important. Because when you just say, like, I want $10,000, there's a part of your brain that if you haven't just had $10,000 show up before, right? You don't have experience just getting that $10,000 showing up in your life and knowing what to do with it. There's a part of your brain that goes, what are we going to do with that, right? And starts freaking out a little bit and keeping you from it because your brain hasn't had that experience before. You haven't had that experience before. So your brain doesn't know where to pull the information. But the more info and clarity that you can give your brain, the more your brain is on board with this process and isn't resisting you, the more it's for you instead of resisting, right? So that clarity also tells your brain, okay, this is what the $10,000 is for, and your brain relaxes. It's like, because it doesn't have to wonder, right? It doesn't have to wonder what's going to happen next or what is going to happen if we get the $10,000. Your brain's like, oh, okay, we're going to do A, B, C, D. Cool, on board with that, right? So step one to attracting $10,000 or anything really that you want to manifest is clear. It's clarity is clear. Hopefully it is clear. But step one is clarity. It's getting really clear about what you want, because that, again, is going to determine where you put your energy and attention. And that's going to determine every step from here on out. So $10,000 shows up tomorrow in your bank account, or someone hands you a check, or and you can use those two examples for now. If someone just walks up and hands you $10,000 today, what are you going to do with it? Allocate it out now as if you have that check right now, right? Allocate every cent of it. And this is, again, this allocation is important for the clarity. It's also a skill set when it comes to managing money. The clearer you are about money and where it goes and what you want your intention to invest in certain things, that gives money a path. It really sets out and gives the path for, where you want money to go. And your brain, again, will get on board with this. This is the same with, I teach budgeting for attraction in one of my books. And the thing is if you tell your brain how much you want to invest in something, it's going to find it. And it's not just your brain. It's, it's all your intuition. It's everything. When you say, I'm going to invest $1,000 in, a course, awesome. Your brain is going to notice, and it's going to lead you down the path to getting that course for $1,000. Or if it's, something else like a couch, it's going to lead you down that path to get that couch, or to get it for the price that you want. It's going to lead you to the right store who has it on sale, right? Things like that. The clearer you get, your brain will help you stay on budget. And this is, even though this is $10,000 that you're welcoming into your life, you want to stay within that, right? Because you don't want to list out a bunch of things and then it totals $12,000. You want to be clear about what you want. And again, this is a manifesting skill set. It's a welcoming abundance into your life skill set. It's also a money management skill set that you're activating. So get clear, drill down, get as clear as you can about the investment and everything that you're going to use with your $10,000 that you're going to invest in. And I will be back next week for step 2. I'm excited. We've gone through so much. I feel like you're prepared and ready. We've talked a lot about, what to be aware of. And so as you go through this process, now you can just dive right into it. Remember, you can go to manifest10k.com if you're like, I get this, but I want some support. I want some step-by-step. I want those instructions. Just go to manifest10k.com and join the party. Before I leave you, I just wanted to share a really cool story. A couple months ago, I had the first ever Manifest 10K live, and the next one is coming up. It's about the second week of May. And just wanted to share with you, there was a realtor who attended, and he showed $2 million listings and got 4 new buyers to sign on, that just showed up to sign on to work with him within 1 week of Manifest 10K live. And it's because when you turn your compass toward abundance and you become abundance and it seeps in and you feel it and you set your intentions and you set your mind, not to go out and make it happen, but you set your mind to know that it's possible and that you want to be led to it. These things happen. 4 new clients in a week, 4 new buyers, right? In 1 week, and showing multiple $1 million listings. It's so fun when you step into this place where you allow abundance to flow through you. So I just wanted to share that story with you. And don't worry, you'll get to hear from him in a later episode. Your mantra for this week is, I am clear. I am clear. Right? I am clear. And so practice it as it feels good and take that into this exercise of getting clear about how you are going to invest your $10,000 when it shows up into your life. Until next time, have a fabulous week and life, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us on the Happy Ever After show, where you don't need a genie lamp to get your wishes granted. Now that you're inspired and ready to take action, get yourself on the path to your happy ever after by scheduling a complimentary strategy session at createmyhappyeverafter.com.